Greetings, young Jedi. It has been a long semester, a long time to be apart, a long time to not have things go as normal as we would have liked them. But I'm hoping we've gotten something out of it. And over these last couple of few cycles, we've been looking at film, using the Force to see how we can interpret a director's style. And hopefully, you'll see as this translates into your writing in future classes, the same way an author makes choices that impact a poem or a story or an essay, a director makes choices to impact a film or a piece of cinema. And in the same way a director makes choices that impact the impression that film makes on you, a writer makes choices in terms of tone, diction, imagery that impacts you, the reader. And this brings us to our last assessment, really. How can you compose an extended paragraph of analysis? How can we take all of our great ideas and put them into a paragraph? The class began way back in February, which seems like another world, writing a paragraph, and you wrote some diagnostic things to show me your ability to compose a paragraph of analysis. We're going to end the same way. We're going to compose a paragraph of analysis, and in this time, you're going to try to understand the director's purpose for a cinematic choice in the film of your choice that you want to talk about. And you could talk about camera angles, lighting, dialogue, character, plot development. But I want to see you take your ideas, whatever Tim Burton film you've chosen. I ask you to look at a Tim Burton film, choose a scene, choose a moment, talk about the whole film as a whole if you want. But you're going to write about what stylistic ideas you've observed, what effects it's given you, what have you seen about the director's purpose for the choices he made, Tim Burton, in a paragraph format. So let me talk about the perfect paragraph. Let me leave you with something tangible that you could really take away from this course to help you with every body paragraph that you will ever write in every other academic class at Tech and beyond. The perfect paragraph. It is a very simple formula. We are looking at an 8-sentence paragraph. So this last exit ticket for the course that you are writing for me is 8 sentences. No more, no less. 8 sentences. They are 8 different parts. You will start with a topic sentence that will introduce your topic. What are you saying about the techniques that Burton is using and the style? Then a sentence of evidence from a film. Then a sentence explaining the evidence. Then another detail, another companion explanation, a third detail, a third companion explanation, and a concluding sentence. Let me break down those essential pieces of the perfect paragraph so you can compose some paragraph perfection and be on point. Let's start with the first sentence, a topic sentence that expresses what your idea will be for the paragraph. That is the analytical statement we can call it, the topic sentence we could call it, that first sentence. What are we doing? We are establishing your purpose. What is the device, the technique, the effect that you saw? In other words, what did you see Tim Burton doing in the film of your choice? And adding to that, what effect did it bring? The result, the influence, the consequence. In other words, you saw Tim Burton doing this, and what are you saying about what you saw Tim Burton doing? The first part is observation. If you have eyes that can see and a brain that works, you could come up with that part. The effect, the angle, is what you have to do a little bit of thinking to add your analysis. Here's the formula. Observation plus analysis will equal your first topic sentence, your statement. So, for example, if I saw Burton using a lot of long shots, and one particular example could be when Peg is upstairs in the attic of the castle. I'm using my examples from Edward Scissorhands, one of my favorite Tim Burton films. The effect I'm seeing is the long shots make characters seem small and vulnerable, right? Big shots make people seem small. Peg looks very small in that big room. The long shot builds suspense because it makes us worry about Peg as she encounters this supposedly menacing figure of Edward Scissorhands for the first time. So my analytical statement could look like this. Tim Burton in Edward Scissorhands uses a long shot to show the vulnerability of characters. For example, when Peg is upstairs in the attic of the castle, the long shot makes her look so small, the viewer worries about her safety. You'll notice here that we have a cinematic element or technique that we're commenting about, long shots in this case, and the effect of that. What purpose does it achieve? What do you see Tim Burton doing it? What's the why behind it? And then right after that, you'll notice I layer in a piece of evidence to support it. So these would be my first two sentences in my paragraph. But with every piece of evidence has to come an explanation. In the perfect paragraph, you have three details, which would be three pieces of evidence, three specific moments from the film that you want to talk about. But right after each piece of evidence, you need to write what's called reflective commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the part that I feel tech students struggle the most with. You are brilliant. You can make a great claim for your topic sentence. You are detectives. You will find the right evidence examples from your source. But you will think that, well, I made a claim and I found my evidence, and you'll stop right there. That's kind of like a lawyer standing up and saying, my client is innocent, dropping a Ziploc bag full of evidence from the crime scene and walking away and saying, I rest my case. You might have had the right claim, you might have had the right evidence, but your argument falls flat because you never explained the evidence. So reflective commentary comes right after the example or the detail you share with your audience. It is showing your audience your thinking. It will feel a little redundant because you've already thought this out, but the reader doesn't know what you're thinking. You need to show your thinking and how the evidence connects with your original claim. So you can make a comment about the evidence. What does it show you? What do you want the reader to see about it? You could explain the connection, how the evidence explicitly brings the reader back to your overall assertion about Tim Burton's cinematic style. You could explain to us how the evidence illustrates the point that you're trying to make. You could challenge the reader to realize something based on your evidence. In effect, the reflective commentary answers the question, so what? I give you this evidence, so what? You have to answer that question. Notice here, Tim Burton in Edward Scissorhands uses a long shot to show the vulnerability of characters. We've got our cinematic element, we just said that. We've got our purpose and effect. We've got our two pieces there. That's a nice topic sentence. Then, right away, there's our first detail, our first evidence from the text. When Peg is upstairs in the castle, makes her look small, the viewer worries about her safety. If we stop there, we are incomplete. We now need to explain. So, unlike the long shots that imply that Edward is a frightening character, this one creates concern for Peg's circumstances. This is the reflective commentary that reflects. We look back on the evidence we've just given and we prompt a realization, we illustrate a point, we comment on the evidence, we say something to demonstrate our thinking. Thinking is in rare supply, and I know you can do this. So that's why in previous cycles, I kept bringing you back to this formula of claim, evidence, reasoning. That triad is really how you develop a point and show someone what you're thinking. The claim is your topic sentence. What do you know? What's your idea? What are you thinking? The evidence is, how do you know that? What's the moment from the film? What's the line from the poem? What's the example from the text? The reasoning is the reflective commentary. That is the why does your evidence support your claim. You've got to come out and say it to explain your idea and develop your point. So, developed analysis, Tim Burton, Edward Scissorhands, uses a long shot to show the vulnerability of characters. Bam. Add to that, evidence, right? There's our detail from the text. Then we add our reflective commentary. right? Our explanation of that. Put that together, and we have a developed analysis. You could write a paragraph with 30 sentences, but if you don't have a claim, evidence, and reasoning, it's still not developed. It's still not perfect. But now you've written your whole paragraph. You made a topic sentence. Detail, commentary, detail, commentary, detail, commentary. You've got your 3 details, and you've got a commentary after each one. You need a sentence at the bottom to give the paragraph closure. Hence the title, The Closure Sentence. And being somebody that likes food, if you remember me back in class, I would make a lot of food comments. I liken a good paragraph to a sandwich. Notice there I've got topic sentence, supporting sentence 2, supporting sentence 3, and now we need something at the bottom to hold the paragraph together. And so the closure sentence makes clear the relationship between your example and your original claim. It brings the reader back to what your topic sentence was all about. It reminds the reader of your original claim of that paragraph and just kind of makes an observation to leave the reader with some thought or possibly transition to another idea for an ensuing paragraph. But we're only writing one paragraph, so it kind of just leaves the reader with a little food for thought. No pardon to the pun. It doesn't simply repeat the claim sentence. That would be very 4th graderish. If you were in the 4th grade and I were telling you to write a really good body paragraph, I'd say your first and last sentence could be exactly the same. But in this case, we're a little more sophisticated than a 4th grader, I hope. We want our first sentence and our last sentence to be similar in idea, but not the same exact words. So notice our example. We've got the pieces there. Assertion, evidence, commentary. Notice the closure. Burton's use of the long shot provides an effective tool to help the audience understand which characters we are supposed to like and dislike. Remember what the closure sentence should do. What should it do? Bring the reader back to the main idea of the paragraph. This paragraph has been about Burton's use of long shots, so I want to remind the reader that we're talking about long shots because audiences are largely dumb and stupid, and people need to be told things twice. Audiences are largely dumb and stupid, and people need to be told things twice. If you're wondering why I said that twice, thank you. So we want to bring the reader back to that, and then we make a little observation about what long shots did. Notice throughout our paragraph, we've been transitioning to introduce evidence, transitioning to change ideas. Don't forget your little transition words. So, how are you meaning writing? Excellent, B. Yoda, it's late. How are you going to do this now? How are we going to pull this all together? You're going to jump over to Google Classroom. You're on Google Classroom, I'm sorry. And right there, you're going to compose your paragraph. Whatever Burton film you've looked at, you want to talk about, make a claim about style, find 3 details from the film to defend your idea, write a reflective commentary after each one, and give me a closure sentence. 8 sentences is all I want, and a Google Classroom Jedi you will be. That's right, Yoda. So I'll be online on Google Meet if you have questions, but I think you've got this, and this will be our exit ticket for the class. Yes, there'll be some other times together, some fun times. Next week, we will be telling the I story, and it will be more epic than The Rise of Skywalker. So happy thinking, happy writing, and don't forget to use the form and register your attendance.